Hi students, welcome to lesson 8, Theory of F.W. Taylor and Elton Mayo's. Let us start with the introduction. The lesson focuses on two important theories of F.W. Taylor's scientific management and Elton Mayo's human relations. Scientific management focuses on increasing the efficiency of organization through scientific analysis of work. Elton Mayo explains the role of human behavior in production and also highlights the importance of communication between the workers and the management. Now, let us focus on the objectives. To study the scientific management theory of F.W. Taylor, to learn Elton Mayo's human relations theory. Now, let us look into the principles of scientific management by Taylor. F.W. Taylor or Frederick Winslow Taylor, also known as the father of scientific management, proved with his practical theories that a scientific method can be implemented to management. Taylor gave much concentration on the supervisory level of management and performance of managers and workers at an operational level. Now, let us discuss in detail the principles of management by F.W. Taylor. 1. Science, not the rule of thumb. As per the principle of scientific management formulated by Taylor, rule of thumb means application of methods decided by the manager based on his past experience or decisions taken by the manager based on personal judgments. This rule focuses on increasing the efficiency of an organization through scientific analysis of work and not with the rule of thumb method. Taylor believed that even a small activity like loading paper sheets into boxcars can be planned scientifically. This will save time and also human energy. This decision should be based on scientific analysis and cause and effect relationship rather than rule of thumb. Harmony, not discord. Taylor indicated and believed that the relationship between the workers and management should be cordial and completely harmonious. Difference between the two will never be beneficial to either side. Management and workers should acknowledge and understand each other's importance. Taylor also suggested the mental revolution for both management and workers to achieve total harmony. Third point, the mental revolution. This technique involves a shift of attitude of management and workers towards each other. Both should understand the value of each other and work with full participation and cooperation. The aim of both should be to improve and boost the profits of the organization. Mental revolution demands a complete change in the outlook of both the workers and management. Both should have a sense of togetherness. The fourth one, cooperation, not individualism. It is similar to harmony, not discord, and believes in mutual collaboration between workers and the management. Managers and workers should have mutual cooperation and confidence and a sense of goodwill. The main purpose is to substitute internal competition with cooperation. The fifth one is development of every person to his greatest efficiency. The effectiveness of a company also relies on the abilities and skills of its employees. Thus, implementing training, learning best practices and technology is the scientific approach to brush up the employee skill. The assure that the training is given to the right employee, the right steps should be taken at the time of selection and recruiting candidates based on scientific selection. These principles of scientific management process involved experiments, observation, analysis and inference and were applied to create a cause and effect relationship. The advantages of scientific management are: it reduced the cost of production, increased the efficiency and less production time. In a fundamental sense, scientific management is an attitude and a philosophy which discards the traditional hit and miss and rule of thumb method of managing work and workers. It means the acceptance and application of the method of scientific investigation for the solution of the problems of industrial management. The methods used in any scientific investigation include research and experimentation, collection of data, analysis of data and formulation of certain principles on the basis of such analysis. Scientific management seeks to maximize the efficiency of the plant by using these methods for its operation. Under scientific management, decisions are made on the basis of acts as developed by the application of scientific method to the problem concerned. This is in contrast with the approach followed under traditional management, according to which decisions are based on opinions, the prejudices or rule of thumb. Thus, substitution of rule of thumb or opinion by scientific approach is one of the primary contribution of Taylor to the field of management. The management and the workers should try to achieve maximum output in place of restricted output. This will be beneficial to both the parties. Maximum output will also be the interest of the society. There must be equal division of responsibility between the managers and the workers. The management should assume responsibility for the work for which it is better suited. For instance, management should decide the method of work, working conditions, time for completion of work, etc., instead of leaving these to the discretion. Taylor suggested that management should try to find the best methods of doing various jobs and introduce standardized materials, tools and equipment so that wastages are reduced. The management should select right type of people and give them adequate training so as to increase the quantity and quality of production. It must create congenial working conditions for optimum efficiency of the workers. It should perform the decision making function and should always give maximum cooperation to the workers to ensure that work is done according to scientific techniques. The workers should also change their attitude towards the management. They should not be work shakers. They should be disciplined, loyal and sincere in fulfilling the task assigned to them. They should not indulge in wastage of resources. Both the management and the workers should trust each other and cooperate in achieving maximum production. Now, let us observe Elton Mayo's human relations theory. Elton Mayo is widely recognized as the father of human relations theory. He explained the role of human behavior in production and also highlighted the importance of communication between the workers and the management. Elton Mayo in his studies concentrated on fatigue, accidents, production levels, rest periods, working conditions, etc. of industrial workers in factories. His two among many important researches were research in textile mill near Philadelphia, research in Western Electricity Company, Chicago, Hawthorne studies. Textile mill near Philadelphia was a model organization with all facilities to workers, but was well organized. The employers were highly enlightened and humane. The labor personnel faced problems in mule spinning department of the mill. The issues were had to hire 250% more workers than the actual requirement. So, absenteeism among workers was the main issue. Management also consulted efficiency engineers, several financial incentives were introduced and number of schemes was launched, but they yielded no appreciable results. Now, the Mayo's observations. Mayo's observations where he studied the problems intensely from various angles. They are the physical, social and psychological. He found that almost every piecier working in the mule spinning department suffered from foot trouble for which they had no immediate remedy. This trouble developed since every piecier had to walk up and down a long alley, a distance of 30 yards or more on either side of which the machine head was operating for spinning frames with cotton thread. A single worker had to carry 10 to 14 such machines, due to which he felt miserable attending to the job. Also found that workers were afraid of the company president because he was a colonel in US Army in France both before and during the First World War. So, workers would never protest. Now, Mayo's experiments. Now, introduction of rest periods. He introduced 2 rest periods of 10 minutes each in the morning and again in the afternoon with every team of pieciers. The result were the rest period scheme eliminated the problem of physical fatigue, production increased, morale improved, labor turnover almost came to an end. Introduction of earned bonus scheme. Under this scheme, if the workers were to produce more than a certain percentage, they would earn bonus. These two schemes made the workers happy, but very soon these new schemes faced problem as the supervisors were not under these two schemes, so they never liked the workers enjoying rest period. Therefore, they suggested that workers should earn their rest periods. This new system was launched. The results were within a week the production fell. The workers became unhappy. The old symptoms started reappearing. So, the company president looked into the problem. He discussed with Mayo and his research team and ordered that the spinning department should be shut down for 10 minutes, 4 times a day, and that all hands from the supervisors down to the workers should enjoy the rest period. Also, he gave the control of the rest periods into the hands of workers. So, the results were old problem disappeared, production increased, the workers started earning bonus. The conclusions from the textile mill at Philadelphia were spinning produces postural fatigue and induces absenteeism and passivity. The rest periods relieve postural fatigue and end absenteeism and passivity. Rest periods are more effective when they are regular. The life of the worker outside the mill has improved as workers become more interested in their families and become more sober. Prevailing problem in the mill was not the result of working conditions, but the result of emotional response of the workers to the work performed. Monotony was not the problem, but repetitive work done under conditions of isolation. Now, let us look into the Hawthorne studies. Mayo's studies at the Western Electricity Company, Chicago is popularly known as Hawthorne studies. It was a research program of National Research Council of the National Academy of Science at the Hawthorne plant of Western Electricity Company. In the early 20th century, it was realized that there was a clear-cut cause and effect relationship between the physical work and environment, the well-being and productivity of the worker. Also, there was relationship between production and condition of ventilation, temperature, lighting and other physical working conditions and wage incentives. It had been believed that improper job design, fatigue and other conditions of work mainly block efficiency. So, to establish the relationship between man and the structure of the formal organization, Hawthorne studies were conducted. The studies were conducted in the 4 phases. 1. Illumination experiment 1924-27, Relay assembly test room experiment 1927, Mass interviewing program 1928-31, Bank wiring experiment 1931-32. Illumination experiment. It was done to determine the effect of different levels of illumination on workers' productivity. In this experiment, 2 groups of female workers were located in separate rooms, each group performing the same task. The rooms were equally illuminated with stabilized room temperature, humidity, etc. Slowly, the conditions of work were changed to make change in production. After a period of 1.5 years, it was concluded that illumination does not affect productivity of workers. The relay assembly test room experiment. This experiment was conducted to observe the effects of various changes in working conditions on the workers and the output and morale. The mass interviewing program, it was launched to explore the employees' feelings, that is the human attitudes and sentiments by the workers' social group, the informal organization. The workers were asked to express freely and frankly their likes and dislikes on the programs and policies of the management, working conditions and behavior of their boss with workers, etc. After a few days, there was a change in the attitude of the workers. However, no reforms were introduced. The change was seen because of the following reasons. The workers thought that the working conditions were changed because of their complaints. They also felt that wages were better, although the wage scale remained at the same level. Now, let us observe the bank wiring experiment. His experiment was done to observe and analyze the group behavior, workers performing a task in a natural setting. For the experiment, a number of employees consisting of 3 groups of workmen whose work was interrelated were chosen. Their job was to solder, fix the terminals and finish the wiring. It was known as the bank wiring experiment. Wages were paid on the basis of a group incentive plan and each member got his share on the basis of the total output of the group. It was found that workers had a fixed clear-cut standard of output which was lower than management target. However, they were capable of increasing their output. It was also found that the group did not allow its members to increase or decrease the output. They were highly integrated with their social structure and informal pressure was used to set right the erring members. The following code of conduct was maintained for group solidarity. One should not turn out too much work. If one does, he is a rat buster. One should not turn out too little work. If one does, he is a chesler. One should not tell a supervisor anything detrimental to an associate. If one does, he is a squealer. One should not attempt to maintain social distance or act officious. If one is an inspector, for example, he should not act like one. Mayo and the researchers concluded that the behavior of the team had nothing to do with management of general economic conditions of the plant. The workers viewed interference of extra department personnel as disturbance. The workers considered supervisors as representative authority to discipline the workers. The logic of efficiency did not go well with the logic of sentiments. One should not miss the human aspects of organization while emphasizing technical and economic aspects. In addition to the technical skills, the management should handle human situations, motivate, lead and communicate with the workers. The concept of authority should be based on social skills in securing cooperation rather than expertise. The conclusions from Hawthorne studies briefly are: the social and psychological factors at workplace, not the physical conditions of the workplace, determine the employee's morale and output. The organization as a social system. Non-economic rewards and sanctions significantly affect the workers' behavior, morale and output. Workers are not inert or isolated, unrelated individual, they are social animals. Division of labor strictly on specialization is not necessarily the most efficient approach. The workers have a tendency to form small groups, informal organizations. The production norms and behavioral patterns are set by such groups. Leadership, style of supervision, communication and participation play a central role in workers' behaviors, satisfaction and productivity. Thus, the findings of Hawthorne studies revolutionized the organizational thought and gave rise to a new theory called human relations theory. Now, let us look into the criticisms of Mayo's human relations theory. This theory lacks scientific basis. The theory is not based on actual behavior of workers, as they were influenced by their feelings of importance, attention and publicity they received in the research setting. Workers react positively and give their best when they were known and they are being observed. It is anti-union and pro-management. Mayo underestimated the role of unions in a free society as well as never tried to integrate unions into his thinking. His theory neglected the nature of work and instead focused on interpersonal relations. It ignored the environmental factors of workers' attitudes and behaviors. Evidence obtained from the experiments does not support any of the conclusions derived by Mayo and the researchers. It lacks economic dimension. It does not consider effects of conflicts and tensions on the workers. This theory gives much attention to informal relations among workers and between workers and supervisors, but little to the formal relationship with informal ones. Now, the relevance of Mayo's human relations theory. Even though its criticism, it is regarded as a major development in administrative theory till date, and you will also find his techniques being used in all organizations like rewards and orders, parties and celebrations, group outings and appraisals to boost morale and motivation. To sum up the lesson, according to F.W. Taylor or Frederick Winslow Taylor, also known as the father of scientific management, proved with his practical theories that a scientific method can be implemented to management. Taylor gave much concentration on the supervisory level of management and performance of managers and workers at an operational level. Elton Mayo is widely recognized as the father of human relations theory. He explained the role of human behavior in production and also highlighted the importance of communication between the workers and the management. Thank you.